When the sun sets and you look up into the night sky, most of the time you can see hundreds and thousands of tiny stars. They sparkle and shine and can form some really awesome constellations. But what's even more interesting is how a star is formed and what their life is like floating through the galaxy. This flowchart illustrates the path that a star can take during its lifetime. All stars start out the same, but eventually turn into either an average star or a massive star. Through this video, I will show you in more depth the path that each type of star takes during its life. As I mentioned earlier, every star is born the same way, through a stellar nebula. A nebula is a large cloud of dust and gas. A region inside the cloud eventually becomes more dense than the rest of the cloud. This dense area acquires its own gravity and starts to collapse in on itself. The dense area then becomes very hot, so hot that nuclear fusion happens. That is when two atoms collide into a larger atom and a lot of energy is produced as a result. The nuclear fusion that happens to the core is the actual birth of the star. The energy produced by it pushes the remaining cloud of dust and gas away, leaving a brilliantly shining star. The star that is formed is either going to be an average star or a massive star. We're going to talk about the life of an average star first. Our sun is an average star. It is currently halfway through the main sequence event of its life, which is the average star stage. It will turn into a red giant in 5.4 billion years. When the star runs out of hydrogen, the outside of the star expands and it becomes a red giant. The outer layers continue to expand and drift away from the core of the star, and eventually it turns into a planetary nebula, which is a glowing shell of hot gas. This outer layer of gas is eventually completely drifted away and only the core is left. That core is now a star that is a white dwarf. A massive star has a very similar life cycle but with a different ending. They are born from a stellar nebula. The star formed is considered a massive star if it is 8 times or more larger than our sun. After the main sequence event of its life is over, the outside of the star expands, just like with an average star, but this time it turns into a red supergiant. Over time, the inside of the supergiant cools off and gravity pushes the outer layers in, causing the star to implode. The collapse happens so quickly that the outer part of the star explodes away, causing a supernova. The supernova can leave behind the very dense core of the star, which is then called a neutron star. Or it can continue to collapse and implode on itself and form a black hole, which is a region of space where gravity is so strong that nothing can escape it. Thanks to science, we now have an actual picture of a black hole in space instead of an artist's rendering. Every time you look into the night sky and you see all of those stars, now you can think about how intricate their lives are and how big our universe is.